have David here.
Sorry.
Hi, I'm David here with CrunchyGuitar.com. This is Peter, who's going to show you some things about vibrato today. Now you can play.
That's your intro?
That's my intro. That's all I got.
You didn't talk about the website at all.
Well, they know about the website.
What am I saying about vibrato? Oh yeah, we were talking about nuance. We're talking about things you can do. It's not just with the guitar. It's above and beyond just playing, just notes. We've been talking about pull-offs. We've been talking about hammer-ons and pull-offs. We've been talking about slides. Although that sounded really bad. And the other thing, of course, is vibrato. I mean, vibrato is really, kind of key here. So you want to be able to work on your vibrato. And we talked earlier about the fact that guitarists, a lot of times, rock guitarists, blues guitarists, tend to put down, when they're playing these notes, they don't play them like, they don't play the pentatonic scale like this. They tend to play it like this. They leave this finger down, and then they'll play this note by putting down these two fingers. And the reason for that is because they want the strength. They want the muscle behind all three of these fingers so they can really work the string. Remember, we're playing electric guitars that are plugged into amps, and today's guitars are pretty well built, almost across the board, and sustain is not so hard to find anymore. Some guitars are better than others. So you want to work that sustain. You want it to be able to, since that note's going to ring, it's not really exciting to have it ring like that.
That's not exciting.
No, not exciting at all. I suppose there are some places where that would be exciting.
No.
No? No. Can't even think of one place where that's exciting. Okay, so the whole idea is that you want to be able to hit a note and give it some expressive purpose and feeling. The vibrato actually will extend the sustain too, so it's very nice to be able to vibrato things. And what am I doing here? I'm just I'm hitting the string with a little bit of force, and then I'm rocking the string back and forth. And I'm using pretty much these two fingers, this one not so much, but I use that one too sometimes. But again, I think this finger is actually giving this finger a little support. It's kind of tucking behind it, I just noticed that. Right? You do that the same way?
It's these two guys.
Yeah. And then you've got the bends, because a lot of times in blues you want to, if you're playing an A, you want to bend this string very often up to here to get this note, which is the same as this E right here, but it sounds nice. You don't have to actually get there. You can hit this note, you can hit this note, and almost anywhere in between, because the blues has this sort of, we've talked about this before, has this sort of microtonal thing where a lot of times just the note being bent is nice no matter where it ends up. Right? That wasn't quite making the half step. I wasn't hitting that. I was right in between. So the nice thing is, because I'm using these three fingers, I have that strength to really rock that note. And of course, the problem is always the extraneous noise coming from other strings, and that will clear up the more you do this. You have to practice this a lot, and your fingers will start to mute things. I mean, I'm using this finger as actually, as David likes to say, lazily, just kind of covering up these two strings so you can't hear them, which allows me to hit these three strings and not worry about this kind of effect, which doesn't sound good unless you're doing a weird avant-garde movie. So we've got the bend, and of course the the bend up to vibrato, which is this. I tend to prefer terminal vibrato, which is more vocal. I don't like this. I tend to like to let the note ring a little bit just before the vibrato hits, kind of like a voice trailing off. Whether it's Mariah Carey or Frank Sinatra, there's that moment where the voice is kind of not vibratoing, and then it trails off into a vibrato. So to me, it's more vocal if you go and let it terminate that way. That's kind of the way I see it. B.B. King was very big on using this right here, right there, as his axis point, as his pivot point when he played blues licks. A lot of times he would bend this note. If you're playing in the key of A, he'd bend this note, which is the minor third of the scale. I'm on the third string on the 5th fret, and he would tend to do this. Right? So I'm actually pivoting on here. Some people do it this way. You can put. I think you push up more than I do, but I tend to pull it down. Right, you hear that? I'm getting a little bit of extraneous noise. But if there was a good rhythm guitar player behind me, you wouldn't hear that. Right, so the bend up, the bend to vibrato, and the sort of vibrato in place, or I can remember listening to Purple Haze when we were in high school, and like I put the turntable on the slower, I put the LP record on the slow setting so I could hear, because I couldn't tell how he was doing that vibrato, and it really was just because I was thinking he was using his whammy bar. You're not actually lowering the pitch. The pitch is just going up and back to where it was, right? So the pitch is going like this, right? Anyway, so that's one thing. David and I will split off on this. If you're playing the pentatonic scale and you're on the first and second strings, this bend here is nice because you're going up to this A right here. You can use these 3 fingers. I think you do it that way. Yeah, you do it that way, right? A long time ago, I jammed with somebody who did it this way. And it kind of permanently stayed with me. It's Ben Mazer, I think, taught me that. All right, that's my angle on vibrato and bending. What did I miss? What did I forget?
Oh, just, how to actually practice it, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Because like it's one thing to see it, but like
I don't practice it anymore.
How does it actually happen? And the thing is, the vibrato is really just a series of bends. And so the thing to do is to take a strong finger, like your ring finger, with all the fingers behind it, and just practice making little bends up and down. And when you hear vibrato, it's done really quickly, but to learn it, you need to slow it down so that you've got something like that. And just learn how to push the string back and forth. And
yeah, it won't sound great. It won't sound great at first.
Sound like vibrato, but you have to slowly do it like that, and then you can gradually pick the speed up to something like that, and then faster, and then finally. But just learning those steps, getting it to work physically. If you just kind of do it as fast as possible, it won't really have a real solid rhythmic feel to it. So you have to start, I would suggest starting real slowly like that, just moving it back and forth, or the same thing here. If you're going to do the pulling kind of vibrato that Peter's talking about on the index finger, same thing. A series of slow bends where you're pulling the string to one side and letting it come back to where it began. So just to practice it slowly like that and get that under your fingers.
Right. And then you put that all together with the pull-offs, and the hammer-ons, and the vibrato. And then you start to have nuance in your playing. You start to have that expressive capacity to really emote.
Yeah.
Or the emotive capacity to express.
That would be good.